filing your federal tax return every year can almost always be a headache. You have to get those receipts and all that paperwork together, and it's a really big pain. But the Austin Peay College of Business is working to ease some of that pain, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Welcome to 91.9 Public Affairs. I'm Micah Terrell, and welcome today also to APSU TV. Now, the college is partnering with the United Way of Greater Nashville to offer free tax preparation services. The service or program is called VITA, or Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, and it's part of a service learning course that's taught by Dr. Jennifer Thayer. She's accounting professor at the College of Business. So, Dr. Thayer, thanks so much for stopping by. So what led you to become involved with VITA?
Back in the early 2000s, while I was a law student in Birmingham, Alabama, I stumbled across the program while focusing on tax law and just decided to volunteer, and I kind of fell in love with it then. And so I volunteered the years I was in school, and then when I came to Austin Peay as a faculty member, I knew it was something I wanted to get going. They had it previously, but just unfortunately didn't have enough faculty to help with it. And so we just started back up. I found out about the opportunity to make it a service learning course, which is a great high impact practice for our students.
Definitely is. Now tell us how does VITA work? What's involved?
So we do a virtual process. We use www.getyourrefund.org/en. If you go to that link, it will walk you through the process of what you need. So to be eligible for the program, your gross income needs to be $66,000 or less, but you can be married, single, you can even be a dependent if you just need to file to get your tax withheld back because your parents still claim you. If you go there, you will need all of your tax documents, your ID, and you do have to have your Social Security card. It's a very simple process that you can even do using your phone to upload all your documents. It goes into a system and you'll be contacted, and we will walk you through the process of having a return prepared. It will go through a quality review process, and somebody will call and walk you through what happens from there and go over. You get copies of everything, and there's always somebody there that you can reach to ask any questions you may have.
Great, that's really cool. Now, you've been involved with VITA for a good number of years.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of growth and changes have you noticed over the years?
Well, when we originally started it here at Austin Peay 5-6 years ago, we did it on ground at the Sustainable Campus place. I forget their new name. And the first year we didn't have a lot of traffic, mainly because we weren't known where we were. And then the next year we grew, about doubled what we had done the first year. And then after that, COVID happened. And so that is when we learned about this. Our liaison at the IRS introduced us to the person at the United Way, Tamara Cray, and we went under their umbrella. Well, since we've gone virtual with the process, we have increased the number of returns we do. Just last year, our students prepared 285 approximately returns for the Middle Tennessee community. And when you're looking at only 15 students doing that while being full-time students, that's a lot for them. But it's such an invaluable experience for them to get the practical application.
It really is. And you mentioned, too, when we were just chatting before our interview on camera started, about how some of the unique skills students learn. So talk about some of the practical application and some of the more social skills, too, that they get out of it.
So what's really interesting is, of course, they're getting technical skills. They are learning the tax rules and all of the things required for filing individual income taxes. But in addition, they have to practice their soft skills quite a bit because it does require, when you're preparing these returns, to communicate with the taxpayer via telephone, and that's talking to them, not just texting. And for a lot of our students, this is the first time they've had to make professional phone calls. So we work through those, do some practice scenarios. They tend to tell me that's the thing they're most nervous about, not the tax work, but the actual talking. But by the end, seeing their confidence level go up and knowing they feel good about it themselves and feel more ready to go out into the world. I will say I love the feedback at the end of the semester. They always do a reflection paper, and the feedback of how they've learned so much and that they loved getting to actually put into practice the concepts they had learned in class in a safe environment, because it wasn't necessarily with an employer or a supervisor, it was a faculty member they knew, and so they really enjoy it. Some even come back and do it more than once. And we actually have some students who've graduated and still continue to volunteer, which just really warms my heart to know that they're giving back to their community with their skill set.
That was going to be my next question is how many returning students? So you've had a lot. It sounds
So
like.
they can do it once for course credit, and then the next time, sometimes they will do it as an internship with me and take on more responsibilities, helping review the returns, making the second phone call to go over the tax return with the taxpayer. I have a grad assistant right now, Kim Harden, that's doing that, and she's wonderful. But then I've noticed that I've had multiple students over the past 5 years who just return as volunteers wherever they're located. So some I see in our chats that we use with the United Way, I see their names and I'm so excited to see they're still there. And then some have moved on but find a program to participate with.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
So moving on to, and again, if you're just tuning in, I'm Micah Terrell with 91.9 Public Affairs and APSU TV, and this is Dr. Jennifer Thayer with the APSU College of Business. She's an accounting professor, and she also works with the VITA program, which helps people get their taxes done for free, which is amazing. So you mentioned how it's switched to a virtual, which is a really interesting concept. We've seen that right with COVID and everything, but you've noticed that even though that we've kind of moved past the pandemic somewhat, that you've still seen a good growth with that. Talk about how the concept has helped with the growth.
Well, I think it's because we all have busy lives, and so we can't always make it into a tax person's office during the normal 8 to 5, maybe they have extended hours, or Saturday, but those are always limited appointments. So having the ability to get your taxes done and upload your information and get it started at any hour of the day is just really helpful to any taxpayer. I know that I often do my family's tax returns late at night when everybody's in bed, when I'm not distracted. So it just gives them that opportunity to be more in control of when it works for them. There are still sites available. I want to say that the Clarkson-Montgomery County Public Library does still have an in-person site for people who aren't as necessarily comfortable with the technology. There are some older taxpayers who feel more comfortable just going in person. It's always been done that way, so they're going to do it that way. So there is an opportunity for that, but it is a first come, first serve. So if you get there and there's 30 people ahead of you, that's a long wait. Whereas if you go online and literally use your phone, you take pictures of everything and you have a special link and a special code. So it's very secure. The IRS does not joke when it comes to your security and privacy. And then there's measures in place to ensure you are who you say you are. That's why we require you be able to upload your social security card and that you take a picture holding your ID so we can see you are who you say you are. And then because that people may be concerned, we also use special computers provided to us via United Way. So they're not using personal computers. It's all kept on that and then sent back. And none of those documents are saved. It's literally in a document management system, kind of in the cloud. So, but I think we've definitely seen an increase in just, it's practical and it's easy. And there's even places in Nashville that will allow you to just go in if you don't feel comfortable taking pictures or scanning in your own. They just have intake sites. You go in, they get it uploaded for you, and then we will reach out and let you know as we prepare your taxes.
Yeah, so it sounds like a pretty user-friendly kind of thing.
It's absolutely user-friendly. I would say anywhere you get stuck, there's a help option, but it is very straightforward. Do you have this? Yes. Take a picture and load it here. And the nice thing is it's okay if you don't have everything right away or you're not sure. There's an opportunity for you to speak to the preparers and tell them, you know, I don't know if this is something you need or what should I do, and they can walk you through the process.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, how is this different from, say, maybe an online tax preparer service that you can find with some of the other bigger, tax companies, which we won't name because we don't give them any, play here. But how is this a little different? Because then you mentioned it sounds like it's basically the user online doing the most of the work, and then they can talk with their preparer. Is that basically
right? So the difference between those type of programs and this is they're not actually having to prepare anything. They literally just upload documents and answer a standard questionnaire. From that point, you have IRS certified tax preparers. So everybody who works on the tax returns through the VITA program have gone through a certification process through their IRS where they've taken a minimum of 3 exams to making sure they follow certain standards of conduct for certain quality review processes, and then certified knowing that they know the tax rules. So all of our students certify at the advanced level, allowing them to prepare more returns than just the basic. So it's a very strenuous, thought-out process from the IRS's side of making sure it's qualified people working on it. So you're not having to make any decisions as the preparer, as the taxpayer, other than should I give them this piece of paper or not? And if you don't, we're going to call you and ask you so many questions that it may trigger, oh, I didn't give you that. You probably need it. So we have a long list of things we're going to just want to verify you didn't have this, so you don't accidentally answer a question wrong.
Great. So, how long does this process take typically once the preparer and the person, initiate?
It varies. They try to get a 24 to 48 hour turnaround from when you upload to when you speak to a preparer. Obviously, there are some weeks that are busier than others. All the people, if you think about like our students, they're all volunteering, so they are also managing their other classes. So they may not be there as soon as you upload it, but it's usually a 24 to 48 hours before you get that initial contact from somebody. And then depending on if all of your stuff is already there and there's no other questions we need, it can move pretty quickly. If you're still waiting on things, it's fine. We'll hold it. And then after it's actually prepared and sent for review, which is what I do as the faculty member, I review every return our students prepare. I'll go through it, and it's usually another 24 to 48 hours that I have time to go through each one, make sure everything has been done correctly, finish up the return, send it to the taxpayer to review it, and then we will call and walk them through line by line of this is your tax return, this is your income, what deductions you got, what credits you got, what your refund or if you were to unfortunately owe, and then the process of how to do those things. Can you get it direct deposit or how you want to pay? So
great. So we talked a lot about a lot of different things. What is something that you would like to share with the audience that we haven't talked about yet today?
Well, the main thing is people tend to be very scared when it comes to taxes and the IRS, and I hate that because at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be a scary process. There's lots of trained professionals to help you. And the best thing I can say is don't ever avoid things regarding the IRS. You want to stay on top of it. Immediately reach out. But don't wait till the last minute. The sooner you get it done, the better. And I would just really encourage people to take advantage. This is a free service supported by the Internal Revenue Service. This is not just some people decided to do taxes. This is something the IRS sponsors. And so I would really encourage anyone who is eligible to please take advantage of this program. Our goal is to help as many people as possible get their taxes completed and get the largest refund they're entitled to.
Great. Dr. Thayer, thank you so much. And again, getyourrefund.org, right, is where if people are interested to find out. Thank you so much. My guest today, Dr. Jennifer Thayer. She's the Assistant Professor of Accounting at Austin Peay's College of Business. And I'm Micah Terrell with 91.9 Public Affairs and APSU TV.